If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Welcome to Tunnel Talk, a no facts, all feelings wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Ann.
And I'm Leah.
And that was really super normal. We did a great job, girls, as we do every time. There's really no need to comment on it.
Yeah.
It's just as
It's
normal.
always a first take situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With us, it's always a first, especially at the beginning and end. You better believe you're getting that first take.
Yeah. What you guys hear is always just a one shot. That's how it happened.
Hot and fresh out the oven. Okay. How are you girls doing this week?
Good.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
It's summer season. It's pool season.
Hell yes.
I played tennis today. I felt great in my body. I felt powerful. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thriving.
Are you still on your turmeric?
I am, yeah, although I don't know if that's why, because I was really flaring up over the weekend, so I've just got it back together, but maybe.
I think the fact that it's the summer van is probably more what's going on, but I like to check in about how the various remedies are, remedying.
You gotta, yeah. For everyone listening, I have chronic illness and it flares up, and most of the weird things I do are trying to eke out 1% more functionality from my body than it can do.
Poor Ann is always finding a little something and saying, maybe this will fix me, and we say, maybe this will fix.
Yeah, this is probably it. Yep.
We're hyping her up. We're like, yes, this will fix. No.
I got my foot massager. I got my sitting by an empty pool. I got my turmeric. Yeah, I'm doing great.
My nude sunbathing by the empty pool with the hedges all around.
Yeah. What's the problem?
Well, love that for you, Miss Ann.
Yeah.
It is your week to explain what's making you happy. Are you prepared to do so?
I am prepared to do so. I prep all week long.
My little angel.
Okay.
I love what's making me happy. What can I say?
Barf.
Yes, my sweet girl.
I'm gonna pipe in crowd booing noises.
It'll only make Ann and I feel more like empresses with our rat on a stick.
That's true. Yeah. Make me like I'm a WWE diva. Yeah. Right. Make me feel good. Guys, I watched the Project Runway episode this week where they do fashion for WWE divas. Yeah. I had such a good time. Also, hilariously, I would have sworn that I'd never heard of such an episode, never seen it. Yeah. I definitely watched it live 100%. It's Christian Siriano's season.
Oh my God, then of course I've seen it too.
Yeah. I literally, and as I was watching, I was like, oh, I do sort of remember this, but I was so disinterested in wrestling, it did not stick to me at all.
Wow. There's a lesson there about wrestling's place in the culture. Can I ask, is Christian Siriano's season, is that Andre Red Lobster's season or is that a different one?
That's a good question. He wasn't on the episode I watched, but it was one of the. There were only 6 people on that one.
He could have been gone.
He could have been gone. So it was really interesting though, because the design. There are some designers who are like, "Oh my God, this tacky ass bullshit challenge," and they all do really bad. And then there was a bunch of designers who were like, "This is so fun," and they did great. And it's like, well, that's also a little lesson. Don't be such a snob, You know
what? When your third eye is open to lesson, you'll find them almost everywhere you look.
Yeah. Also, Maria Kanellis was on it, and she wore the winning outfit, and she looked great. Yeah.
I want to watch that now. Wow.
It was fun. It's on Peacock, season 4, episode 10.
Hell yes. Is that what's making you happy, or that's because...
No, it's not. That's just like a bonus.
I love that.
What's making me happy. Yeah, but everyone should check it out. It's a good time. Yeah.
Are you doing 2 today? Are you first?
Yeah,
Yes,
me?
yes, queen. Yes, queen.
Oh my
happiness.
God.
Yeah, I've just got so much, and I already told you about the pool and the turmeric. So
Everything's making her happy. Wow, and this is when you lean into it, Leah. This could be you too. Everywhere you look, something new that's making you happy.
Jeremy, I'm sending you a DM.
Okay, they're going to make you watch a lot of videos, though. I hope you know that.
I hope what's making you happy is work rate, Leah.
Is learning all about Currican Hall or something. Enjoy
that. Yes. Anyway, so what's making me happy this week? I started rewatching the show Party Down, which is one of our greatest sitcoms.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good. They've got such a good romance where the concept is kind of like they have sex too early in the relationship, which you'd think wouldn't be that interesting because they hook up in like the 3rd episode, but like they keep it so interesting and it's so horny. And it's Adam Scott and Lizzie Kaplan who like have such great chemistry. And it's also a great show. Like I wasn't feeling well this weekend and stuff, so I was like feeling bad because it also makes you feel bad in your mind when you're not feeling good in your body.
Sure does.
And it's a great show for when you like feel like your whole life is a failure, you know? Because it's got a real vibe. Like the main character, Adam Scott's character, has like been a successful actor and now he is really tumbled, like he is failing badly and he's quit acting.
And everyone's always reminding him of it, which is so great.
Because he had one memorable commercial spot, which is a real like constant humiliation stuff. So the show is always like, I find it a very comforting show because things always go wrong pretty much, but there's always an energy of like, well, what can you do? Like, what can you do but laugh, you know, which honestly like is good for me, I think. So it's not that serious. Yeah.
It's not that serious. It's such a good show. And structurally, it's so delightful that it's the same people, but every week they're at a different location. And it's like, in some ways, a theme location because they're doing, they're catering different types of parties and like, and I think all the time about different, I think we said this once on the podcast, actually, that it would be so fun to do a wrestling. One of the things that would be fun about doing a wrestling, like, sitcom is that every week they would be at a different venue, but it would be the same people. It's the same kind of thing where it's like, it's fun to always be like following people somewhere else, you know?
Totally. And I think the Jackal Onassis episode of that show is just like one of the greatest episodes of television I've ever seen. They're at backstage at like a Marilyn Manson style concert and it's so funny. And they use the plot so well to like comment on like the relationship and the characters and it's a really good show.
That one and the Steve What's-His-Face.
Yes, Gutenberg.
Steve Gutenberg
so
episode.
Those are both so good. Yeah.
the part where I won't give it away, but just some very funny, some real funny commentary on the art of writing in that episode in particular.
Yes. I think about it all the time. Why have I never rewritten before? Yeah. Why did Steve Gutenberg have to tell me?
Oh my God. Wow. I'll be rewatching that ASAP. Wow. Really good really good multiple what's making me happy, Zan. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Leah, I'll praise you this much next week if you come with even one.
If you come with half of what's making me happy, you're going to get more praise than me, probably.
What did you say? Leah said about me the other week. I don't know if you said it to me or to Sarah or something, but you were like, the thing is, it's like, look at what you're going around like. You'll say that like a blade of grass is making you happy, and I was like,
yeah, embrace the world, embrace life.
She's so mad.
I know, she's furious.
She doesn't like what's happening. Okay, Leah, you don't have to think about it again until next week, and you did a wonderful job. So we watched Double or Nothing pay-per-view on Sunday. It's now Thursday, and then yesterday we watched Dynamite. I thought we could check in we kind of got 2 things. One is kind of the overall take on like how the pay-per-view was. And then the other is kind of like a Brian Alvarez-esque complaint about the mechanics of the pay-per-view. So I'd like us to be really clear before we hit that that I thought this was one of the best pay-per-views we've had in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're incredibly lucky because the complaint we're going to make, I had originally envisioned that it would take up to 45 minutes of this episode to discuss. And then the pay-per-view was so fucking good that I'm still going to make the complaint, but I'm going to make it a lot less violently than I planned to.
Yeah. So the headline for this podcast is not AEW pay-per-views too long. It's AEW pay-per-view so amazing, had the most unexpectedly wonderful time of my life, and the process of purchasing the pay-per-view made me want to put on the best talent show this town has ever seen for me and all my friends.
Although I will say re-length, not really complain, but for those of us, again, with chronic illness and some bedtime meds that have to happen at a specific time, everything that happens post 11 is getting a little iffy. And once we're into the 12 to 12:20 area, like, some of us can't appreciate it as much as we perhaps would have liked to.
I think that's so fair to say that you're trying to get there. But sometimes chemically, at a certain point,
chemically, you might be doped out of your mind and you don't remember a lot of things you probably should remember. Yeah. Because you don't want to delay your bedtime medications because you got to fall asleep within 10 minutes of that damn pay-per-view going off. So.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
What I'm saying is the length was ableist. So, yeah.
Perfect. And that's the headline that we want you to go with, please. When you
run it, when you aggregate us.
Yeah, when you aggregate this.
When this ends up in the Observer, I hope that he
I'm sure it will. The process of purchasing it, though, extremely, extremely rough. We tried how many different ways did we try to purchase this pay-per-view?
A lot. I had so many tabs open. I was trying to research. Look, an important member of the demographic is girls who don't want to pay full price for a pay-per-view.
Yes.
And it is so
girls who
important.
wish they lived in Britain where they don't charge anyone full price, for God's sake.
We just, after watching AEW since summer 2020, we just finally paid attention to the Brits and was like, oh, it's cheaper on Triller if you VPN. So we've been doing that for a while where we VPN, buy it, and then it just shows up at that price on your TV. What we learned this time is that is contingent on Triller also selling it in America, which they did not do this time.
But why weren't they selling it in America? You know what I mean? Like, I guess
because
they're going
to go under.
They're going out of business. Yeah,
I assume. Anyway,
well, shouldn't they want one last wonderful cash grab from?
You think so? God.
So we bought the British version of the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And that money's down the sinkhole. You know,
no,
we're not getting that back. So.
The thing is that, like, we're a certain level of tech savvy, but, like, ultimately we want it on our TVs. So we're like, okay, let's problem solve. We can figure this out. What other streaming service does this pay-per-view air on that allows us, multiple girls, 2, ideally, we have a buddy system, to watch
at least 2.
We're not asking.
At least 2 up to 4. That's all.
And we're not asking. We're content with 2. You know,
we're not asking for that
much. We're not greedy. All we want to do is not pay more than $25 for a pay-per-view. I don't think that's to watch it live. To watch it live so we can experience it with the rest of the internet and to be a part of our own community. And we are our own community, so we want to share it together. And we don't want to go bankrupt spending up to $450 a year on Tony Khan's pay-per-views. You're a billionaire, sir. You're a billionaire.
And you really should consider us all part of one household. I think that's reasonable.
A podcast is a household. If a podcast isn't a household, then what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
So Amazon, 1 stream. YouTube, 1 stream. Fubo, which I really Fubo.
And by the time you're on Fubo, you've all seen the post. We'll repost the post, but you're just like, this is fake. This is totally fake. I'm supposed to give my hard-earned cash from working under the jackbooted heel of capitalism to a company called Fubo that wants to charge you how much per month, Leah?
$90?
$90 a month. For what? What service do they provide?
I don't even know what they serve.
We don't know.
I have no idea.
We don't know.
No idea what they sell me. So I had to create an account, log in. I had, on my cursory research, thought you could do 2 streams, bought the pay-per-view. Only after purchasing the pay-per-view, found out that it fucking doesn't load on Roku's. What?
Also made up. Fuck? Roku also made up. Roku, also Fubo.
Yeah.
Bop, bop. It's out of control. poop.
Luckily, it loaded on Allie's Apple TV, but it would not.
Well, we had brought my Apple TV to a second location, luckily. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. We're at this cabin in Duluth, Minnesota, and I've brought my own full Apple TV setup to hook it up to the TV so we can try and access some app called Fubo. Okay?
It's fucked up. So poor
Demeaning.
Anne had a Roku, had to figure out her situation. Our friend Blorb, who also watches with us, she has an Apple TV. Fubo wouldn't let her in, so she had access to the TV.
It was denied access.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? It was, I don't know. We started the buy-in, and I was so angry that
she was really upset.
Not even seeing Alex Marvez was really calming me down. There was a point where I snapped at Allie so intensely that like she looked a little scared.
Well, I was scared. To be perfectly frank, I was scared because I thought that I had like a really like good energy where I was like, well, the worst thing that happens is just that we spend $50 extra and money at the end of the day, money is just water. And Leah's vibe was like, what if I kill you right now? What if this is the last thing that you say to me? And she didn't like a funny joke I was doing where I was like, it's okay, little buddy. And she said, if you say little buddy to me one more time.
Yeah, it got really tense. It got really tense in that
and Toni,
room,
that's all we're saying. That's all we're saying, Toni. Well, of course, wrestling is important to us. The only thing more important to us than wrestling is maintaining our friendships and relationships in our community, and we can't do that if you don't make it easier to buy these pay-per-views. We cannot be safe together.
Yeah,
if you don't make it easier to buy these pay-per-views.
And the thing is that, like, I don't even mind if he makes us jump through a couple, like, obstacos. You know,
what if
like,
this segment
I'm
does go 45 minutes?
It's getting close.
It's getting close.
Listen, I don't mind doing stuff like VPNing into the UK to buy the pay-per-view. That's an acceptable level of obstacle. That's fine. Toni, if you want to discourage people that are less tenacious by putting that into place, that's fine. But you simply cannot set up a situation in which there is no way around it. I am not paying $50 a person. I'm just not.
No, that won't be happening. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate.
No, not with. It'd be one thing if they were 4 times a year, which we can go back to. That'd be okay.
Yeah, we'd love to go back to 4 times a year, but we've accepted the tide has turned. You don't want to take us there. You don't want to take us back that way. What is it? The boats only move forward.
The classic saying, the boats only move forward.
Boats do go backwards for sure.
Let's pretend I didn't say that. Let's just pretend I didn't say that, and let's only move forward further into this episode to reiterate, again, we loved the pay-per-view. We had an amazing time during the pay-per-view. It was a really good pay-per-view. Let's just figure out that whole purchasing the pay-per-view situation. No problem. Okay. Having reiterated that we love the pay-per-view, now we'll discuss the content of the pay-per-view. And I'm sorry about everything you've heard up till now, but...
I'm not sorry. It needed to be said.
Okay. All right. Okay, little buddy. And I apologize for that as well. And I'll never say that again. And I'll never, even in jest, I'll never say that again. And I don't feel safe right now. Okay, let's start with the exploits of some of our, what I've called our lesser sewer hole boys at the pay-per-view. So first up, Mark Briscoe and Ricochet had their stretcher match. The goal of the stretcher match was to throw your opponent onto a stretcher and get the stretcher into an ambulance and close the ambulance door. I don't know if you had to lock it. You just close them in the ambulance. What did you guys think about your very first stretcher match?
So fun. I enjoyed it very much.
Loved it. I was like, who knew that stretcher matches were the best thing on earth?
Yeah.
I literally was like, I understand the appeal of Mark Briscoe now.
Yeah. I liked it very much. There were so many goofy moments, and the one fake out where I think Ricochet got Mark Briscoe into the ambulance, but then Mark Briscoe got the crutch out at the last second and stopped the door from shutting. That invigorated me.
I think everything about this match, I was prepared to enjoy it, a medium amount because it was a ludicrous concept and because I like Ricochet and because I don't find Mark Briscoe, I don't object to him in general anymore. I accept Mark Briscoe. But I agree. as the match got going, I was like, wait a second. Is this why men are always telling us that they love Mark Briscoe? Because he was fucking fun. Mm-hmm. This was a fun match, and he bled like a goddamn champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He looked so good. There was, when he jumped out of that ambulance, like covered in blood with the fire extinguisher, it was like a visual on the level of like Eddie with the gas can, you know? Like that was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the picture that he posted? I think he posted it to Instagram later of himself with the blood all over his face. I was like, holy shit, he did just walk out of a slasher movie. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it looked insane.
He was bleeding like crazy. It was like splattered everywhere he moved.
Yeah, it was like, boy, I'm enjoying this red on a stick while I watch this.
I know.
That's feeling.
The things these men won't do for my entertainment. Mark Briscoe had grown out a little mohawk for the occasion, I guess, as a dig at Ricochet. And I have to say, I think I'd like the mohawk for real.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, I was like, I think I'm into this look. I feel like it worked. I mean, it's very funny that this man is the father of 9, but I mean, you love it.
You said that, and I was like, wow, yes, yes, that is so true. They did a little spot where he got out a little caddy of cleaning fluids. There's got to be a more normal way to say that. And I got confused. I think others knew. I know James Owen Art was like, I knew where this was going. I didn't, because I just remembered when Rock and Roll Express got tied up backstage and the cleaning fluid got poured down their mouths because they liked it, or Orange Cassidy got his, all the men who have like lined up over the past 6 months to get cleaning fluid poured down their mouths because they liked it. So I was like, wow, I didn't think that Mark Briscoe would do that of all men, but turned out it was for a very fun spot where he cleaned Ricochet's bald head. And everyone's loving making fun of Ricochet's bald head. And Ricochet's loving making fun of his own bald head, which is the most important thing of all.
Yeah. And Taz said something like, oh, Mr. Clean out here. And I was like, wow, that is a deep cut joke. I like it, I think.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about the match itself?
No.
Perfect. No, just perfect. So fun.
Yeah.
So fun. So unexpectedly fun. A little
really exceeded expectations. Yeah. I really didn't think I was going to pay a ton of attention to this match. So.
I would say that of like so many matches on this pay-per-view actually is that I didn't go in mad about them, but I was like, yeah, I think I'll like that a normal amount. And then while it was happening, I was like, I love it. I think that you guys are totally killing it. We did have a little backstage segment from Ricochet on Dynamite this week where he was like, I look around, I see that everybody has some guys around them, and I don't have any guys around me. It would be so cool to have that. Maybe Ricochet needs a group. Maybe Ricochet needs some loyal subjects. Maybe Ricochet needs a crew. I'm going to go looking for a crew. As some have pointed out, crew CREW or crew CRU. Hard to know. Thoughts?
I definitely would not mind if he joined up with Crew and like they became his minions, but at the same time, I do hope we get at least a week, if not a couple weeks, of him going backstage and like interviewing people or like trying people out, because we love that.
That was my exact thought too. It's like, it's fine if he settles on Crew, but there better be some auditions,
Yeah. I feel like we always ask for auditions and almost never get them. Mm-hmm. I would love for someone to follow through with like, I'm going to try some different people and it's going to be funny. It's going to be funny until I find, and then it'll be funny in the right way when I find the right people.
Yeah.
Remember when Samoa Joe said that his challengers would have to be approved by a committee, and then we never saw the committee?
I remember because I think about it every day. I think about it every fucking day.
That's our J&J security. Maybe the committee will come back.
Maybe the committee will come back. I think there was like a part of that too was like, God, finally we'll get some insight into how they're making these decisions in kayfabe at least. Like I'd love for someone to illuminate like how these kayfabe decisions are getting made. And they were like, actually, we can't give them that much insight. That wouldn't be good for them.
Yeah.
Rough.
It's like they don't even want to put on fun skits for us.
And yet, by accident, so many things in this pay-per-view were for us. Oh my God, we didn't even say, it's not going to come back, so I think well, actually, it'll come back in the Sammy section, actually. No, so never mind. Okay. Also, in Sewer Hole news, Okada fought Speedball Mike Bailey, and that was totally fine. And this is a little bit of a different energy because I saw
this one more met my expectations, I would say.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Which we're like, I'll probably watch it ish.
Could be okay. I don't remember where it fell in the pay-per-view. I know and I acknowledge that many said, yes, finally Okada has that fire in him again. And to me, I wasn't watching that carefully because I was tired from what I had seen and resting up for what I would still see.
Yeah. Speedball is a super fun wrestler. Like,
so
I really enjoyed watching them wrestle. But, Okada.
I still don't get it.
I know. It was definitely the most disjointed. I saw reactions where it was like, I saw a lot of people being like, that was the best Okada's done in AEW. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess. I mean, it might be. Like, they're all kind of
possible
around the same zone.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's like, to me, it was pretty similar to his past work. But again, I wasn't watching that closely.
Well, the thing is, to me, too, I'm like, Okada hasn't done anything, like, really bad. Like,
no.
So this didn't seem that much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in terms of Okada, I'm like, I definitely like Speedball and his wrestling more than I've liked other Okada, like, opponents. So there's that. Anyway, that's okay. But, Anne, you want to read this thing that you thought you heard? And we all thought we heard, I think.
Yeah. I think we all thought we heard on commentary. It sounded like Taz said, and we can see how heavily the breasts are coming out of Speedball, which made my head went way up.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? And then I was like, oh, breaths.
Yeah.
I think we all misheard it that way and all suddenly jerked to look. Like, wow.
I was like, Taz, you're so thoughtful. Like, thank you for letting me know about the breasts.
The breasts are always doing stuff, but commentary literally almost never tells you about it. So it was like, wow, finally someone cared. And then I was like, oh, it's stupid breaths. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, whatever.
So anyway, Okada won, and that's fine. And this is don't get mad at us. It's like, it was fine. It was good. It was good. It was fine. It was good. We just don't get it. We don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to the real sewer hole meat. Actually, I think there are sewer hole boys in this, but anyway, Anarchy were there? Who's in this? Don't answer that. Anarchy in the arena. I don't know. When we get to the Dynamite follow-up, you'll understand why they're all together, but Anarchy in the arena happened. It was pretty insane. Oh, everyone find that funny? Everyone like how I'm doing my job? End of recap. Okay. We start Anarchy in the arena. We're getting the entrances. Everybody's coming out, and they're so excited to fight. Swerve has a very cool... I can't believe that I knew what this was, actually, because I think I've only seen Alien versus Predator of the Predator films, and I think I saw it on a Greyhound bus in Australia when I was in college. So I don't remember much about it. But he came out, I said, that's a Predator costume.
I loved it. Like, I think what we know is kind of making fun of it for being, like, very on the nose one-to-one. But it was like, like, Swerve always comes out doing something interesting. He makes it clear that he watches things that aren't wrestling. Like, he's
so
putting
huge.
in so much more effort than anyone else. I feel like Swerve is he's so underrated still. It's like, he's the definition of putting in, like, twice the effort for half the recognition. Like, when I remember that he was not in the conversation for Wrestler of the Year in the Wrestling Observer thing last year, I'm just like,
unreal.
It's such an indictment of that outlet, to be honest. It's just ridiculous. Like, when I see these other people phoning it in and Swerve comes out here, like, looking amazing, putting in 110% in every aspect.
It's true. I frequently kind of forget, like, because I don't listen to, it's like your Wrestling Observer, like that kind of thing. I don't listen to them. I just see what people say about them. So I kind of like forget sometimes that Swerve does not seem to be coming up very much at all. And then someone will remind me and I'm like, yeah, that's insane. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean that you're not all talking about him all the time? Like, when he looks like everything he does, he's like, I'm going to go to the pains of like making it look really fucking cool. And then also I'm an amazing wrestler. It's like, okay, well,
it's like, I think all the time about like the little speech Chris Jericho gave at the like dinner or whatever after Swerve won the world title, where he was basically like, wrestlers need to be a lot of things, and like, you're great in ring, you have a lot of charisma, you've got great presentation. It was like, yes, he does all of the aspects of pro wrestling, and it's so common for wrestlers to do like one of them well, and then two of them like okay, but he's like putting in the effort in the storytelling, in the charisma, in the presentation, in the rest.
So
in the
you'd
ring,
kind of call him a 5-tool player.
Kind of a 5-tool player.
Kind of a 5-tool player.
Kind of got it all going on, yeah.
Wow, and yet he hasn't made that his gimmick. So strange.
Weird, yeah.
He looked really cool. There was a whole like light show. There were a lot of like light show elements that I really enjoyed from multiple people. I think any time that we can kind of like do black lights or like do like neon lights and like let's do that. That looks great. It looks really good. So everyone comes out. And then Justin Roberts is in the ring, and he's looking really pained, and he gets out a little piece of paper or whatever, and is like, all right, here we go. And he starts reading this long introduction as some jaunty fife music starts playing in the background. And you think, God, what the hell is happening here? And it turns out that it's Mommy's Little Young Bucks who are coming out in 2 matching Revolutionary War costumes set to the fife music while Justin Roberts, so like not happy about it, is reading this long thing about how important they are as the founding fathers of AEW. Oh, and they're holding their flags. They're holding their flags, yes.
Yeah, they're waving flags so waving their flags proudly.
And I said to myself, I think they had a lot of stuff going on, so there probably wasn't time for it, but a little bit of color guard practice with those flags, we could have had a much more synchronized wave. But they had kind of a great little kid energy of like, no one's given me a flag this big before. Like, it was just really exciting. Just the flag itself was really exciting. So they are immediately, it's like, of course you want to punch those guys. What else are you going to do? You got to punch those guys. So Kenny and Swerve, I think, give each other a little look, and it's just like, all right, let's fucking get this going.
And that look was so perfectly executed because you could just see on their face when they were like, they just had this moment of like, these motherfuckers are so annoying. I have to be allowed to punch them. I have to.
I really love like Kenny and Swerve's little alliance where they keep looking at each other and being like, oh God, we got to deal with this thing now, you know? It's great.
It's a real like the only 2 adults in the room.
Yeah, totally.
Just like, isn't anybody else? And especially because like Kenny's vibe is for so much of, you know, like the past little while has been like, I have crippling depression. It's very funny for him to be like, nobody else is going to deal with this. Yeah, fine, I'll get out of bed. Fine. Jesus. But it is also funny that I just like occasionally remember I'm like, they're exchanging these looks like, these guys are so fucking annoying. We got to do something about this. And it's like, Kenny, you dated them. It's like,
you are like more responsible than
who knows what's going to happen to you down the line.
Yeah, Swerve's getting closer and closer.
I know, it's like, buddy, if you think there's any amount of time that you can be at this company without inevitably, at this level, without ending up as a middleman, you got another thing coming. You're going to get in there.
Yeah. It's like, just once you get promoted to director, you're going to end up standing between those guys, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look that good, they love being around guys who look that good.
I know. And like the thing is, like, I know Swerve right now. If you said that to him, he'd be like, not me. I'm never falling for it. But you know what, Swerve? When they decide it's your time, you're going to fall for it.
Yeah.
And they all
feels so good to be on the inside, you know? Feels bad later.
The thing is, they
feels good in the moment.
If they set your sights on you, they've never missed. They've never missed. If they want you, they've never missed. Okay, so Kenny and Swerve run at them. They start beating them up. Action has begun. Fifes are playing. We cut to a 4-screen. We're watching the action on 4 little mini screens. Theoretically, I don't mind this. In practice, how did this play for you guys?
I believe
Sucked
all
ass.
3 of us flipped out. It was like,
Yeah,
you
we
can't
freaked.
do this to us. You can't do this to us.
It didn't help that Tony kind of had forced me to watch it on a computer screen instead of on the television, but there was like so much happening and you just couldn't look at stuff. Like I saw like a clip later of Kenny like shoving the flag at the Bucks' butt and I was like, how the fuck did I miss that? And I went back and it was in a 4 box and so I was looking at a different box.
And it's you know what? It's fine because it went on for long enough at the beginning that I thought it was going to be the whole match. And I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. This isn't fair. You can't do this to me. But then they did go back to normal and they just cut back to the 4 screens sometimes. So it's like, fine, you tried something. I liked it. It looked fun for the first moment. And then it didn't work.
I'm never opposed to them trying things, for sure. I always give them credit for that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The thing, I think someone at one point said about, like, blood and guts, maybe they were like, why don't they release a cut later where they've put together all the different footage and they've actually found, like, the best spots and spliced it together?
Yeah.
I wish they would do that for all of these big matches where it's hard to keep track of. It's like, that would be such a fucking cool thing to just put up as a YouTube special, is like the awesome cut, the number one best cut.
Right.
Yeah. And I think at the live, they can go to 2 screens, but I think 2 screens at most.
2 screens at most, yeah. And even then, it kind of depends on, because like 2 screens where it's really clear spots would be fine. But the one, this was difficult because it's like, I'm trying to see those Revolutionary War costumes like right away at the beginning, but they were in the ring. And it was like, well, the ring is, you can't tell, in a quarter of the screen, the ring is like a little white box, basically.
Wasn't working at all,
Yeah. All right, great match, though. Totally fucking awesome match.
Oh, yeah. So fun. Really creative. They did a ton of stuff I hadn't seen before, which was so fun.
And the costumes were the Revolutionary War costumes, it's so funny for them to have perfect, like, I can see us, like, in a world where it's anybody else, we would have flipped out and been like, we just got your boobs back. How could you do this to us? But at the end of the day, we're comedy girls.
If it was anybody else who would say that.
You know.
If it was Will Hobbs, would we have flipped out?
Will, we just got your boobs.
Well, you say that, and I'm a little bit like, well, he shouldn't take them away.
No one should ever. Once you've given us a boob, you can't take it away. Okay, but make your comedy point.
No, just that we really prize comedy, so it was like, couldn't even really be mad because we were like, well, when you're doing flips with your little tails flapping in the wind, of course it's perfect.
We do always say comedy is the core value. It is true, and it was the most insane. It was so funny. It was just so funny. Like, I think the same day, like, we have an episode come out, and we're just like, thank God we got those boobs back. And then on the pay-per-view, it's like, bitch, you thought. But you're right. I was just like, wow, made the absolute right call because, of course, you come out in the costumes very funny. Of course, you then can't take the costume. Of course, the best thing to do is to wear the costume.
Yeah. I kind of thought their tops were going to get ripped off at some point, though, and they didn't.
Listen,
if they're taking feedback, a little snap-on buttons, and you could do a spot where like somebody rips them off, and
then they go, oh my God, like kind of a fun stripper, like
the way Alexander Hamilton would react if you pulled his top off. Yeah, that's what I would like to see. In an ideal world.
I'd love to hear more about your full vision of how Alexander Hamilton would react if you yanked his top off.
I think just a lot of shock and horror and modesty issue, covering the boobs.
Oh, maybe just covering the, okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, we were demonstrating with our hands.
Great audio.
Great audio. It's like, we were just doing some boob demonstration stuff here. Extremely fucking funny. Everyone want to do top spots of the match.
I love Swerve on the forklift.
Yes.
That was very triumphant feeling.
Yeah.
Love when he gets a little heavy machinery out there.
Yeah. The return of the stapler, also huge.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Both in Matt's penis and Swerve's tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Commentary yelled, "Oh no, Dana."
And you flagged that immediately when we were watching, and I had my brain totally glitched. I forgot who Dana was, or that Dana existed, and I was just like, what is she saying?
I also couldn't process it because
I was too embarrassed to ask.
Yeah. I also was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what nickname that means.
So me, the least Young Buck fan. I mean, I'm still a Young Buck fan, but the least of the three of us, I was the only one who remembered Matt's wife's name in that moment.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had gone to another place. They're just little Revolutionary War boys. They don't even have wives. But when I reread, when you'd said this in your notes too, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, right. And it was extremely funny and insane. I cannot believe that Swerve got staple gun in the tongue.
Yeah.
Bananas.
And it just stayed there for the whole, I mean, I guess what else would it do? But it was just like, so you're just wrestling with it. You're wrestling with it in your tongue. You're wrestling it can't even in your dick, in your tongue.
It's crazy. It's like the things they'll do. And it's like, it's funny how those things are so much more visceral, even though I know it's like the least dangerous thing they do and probably hurts less than a lot of the stuff they do. But it's like, you know what a stapler feels like, you know? And so
I know.
Like,
I think the last time the stapler came out, we talked about it and people like wrote to us and was like, it's honestly not that bad. I can't help it. Every part of me winces when someone gets stapled. Never mind in the tongue.
The tongue was
and it just
bananas.
stays there. I mean, that's the thing that I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, it's just there.
Yeah. She didn't like half staple it. It wasn't slightly in there. It was all the way in there.
I love with the staple gun, actually with all of it was with the syringe spot too, back of that match. Yeah. I love Swerve, especially when something like that has happened. He's like, get a super fucking good shot of it. Like, if you miss this shot, and he's up in the camera just being like, I did it. Which is so relatable. He's like, listen, I'm not going to go out there and do this again next Tuesday. So it's like, you get this now. You get this now.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
So fucking good. Kenny was absolute comedy. I didn't even explain what happened with the music. We had the fifes playing, and then Kenny hopped on the mic and was like, let's get some. This was a period of the match that I called men walking each other, where we hadn't gotten to the spots yet, so it just was cutting around, and it was mostly like men just kind of like bar fight style, just being like, we're in the same space and we are not happy about each other. We're not doing that much about it yet.
No, everybody was doing like a little bit of laps around for a little while. Like it was just like mall walkers at points.
They were just getting their bearings. So Kenny hops on the mic. It's probably because the fife music, they're not getting revved up enough. So Kenny said, let's get some different music on. Then we got I'm So Excited, a fun little throwback to a theme song that everybody got mad about. The crowd loved it. They're just like, sure.
I honestly could have had that one going for a lot longer than they actually played it. I was having a blast.
Yeah, I had no objection to I'm So Excited. But then Kenny said, you know what? Let's go for a different... What did he say? He said something where he was like, it wouldn't be a wrestling show if we didn't have a little like 90s hard rock or something.
It was like 2000s alternative.
2000s alternative. Like and then we got Bodies, and that band is called Drowning Pool. I don't know. I know the song, but I don't know this band. And actually, I started by being like, I don't even know what kind of music this is. Like, someone called it metal. Is it metal? It's new metal. I looked it up. You looked it up. Well, this is beside the point. That played for a long time.
Yeah.
A really long time.
I really
was ready to be
You were done with
that one quite soon after it started, yeah.
I love when they do the long music spots. By the end of them, I'm always like, okay, someone's got to turn this music off. But I didn't mind that one for quite a while. I actually was having fun with it.
I liked it most when Kenny found a woman in the audience and gave her the mic to sing, but she actually really didn't know the lyrics, and she was trying so hard because, you know, she wanted to be the person, but she was like really fumbling, and Kenny didn't notice. Kenny was really happy.
I know. I loved Kenny was in such a good mood, which I loved, that he didn't seem to clock at all that he had picked completely the wrong woman to do this spot. Willow had a ton of really cool spots, and some that were viscerally so upsetting to me. So she gets chained to the post through her earring, through her earring, and then she's there for like 10 minutes.
Really long time.
A really long time. And I just kept saying to myself, like, if I were the only woman on a team and someone chained me to a post by my earring and all my fucking male colleagues were just ignoring me and not coming and getting me out that post, I would flip
the fuck out. Especially when the crowd started chanting, please help Willow, and no one fucking did. Guys.
Bunch of waste of space on that team.
Jesus Christ. You guys, this is going to be coming up in the retro. Okay? This is coming up in the retro.
I thought they did such a good job of integrating Willow and Marina into the match in ways that didn't feel like awkward and forced like at all. Like they did do actually some intergender spots, which were thrilling. But I thought in general it just felt pretty organic, which it's got to be kind of hard to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Allie, why don't you tell everybody what you almost typed into a public space about the intergender?
I'm going to get canceled. No, I'm not, because I knew when I went to type it, I said, that's wrong. We can't say that as a generalization, obviously. But I was so excited that they were doing actual moves on each other that I said, that's right. Real boys hit girls. And that's not right. That's not right. But for an
Context,
intergender,
it is right.
But for
it
an
is
intergender
right.
wrestling match, context dependent. Context dependent for an intergender.
When they are pretending to fight, they can
fight.
Pretend to fight.
Pretend to fight. Fine. That is so true. And I did love actually Marina Shafir shouting "Do it, pussy" to Mox. I was like, that's doing it for me in a big way. I just loved everybody in this, and I think especially on the face team, like they did a great job of having all of the faces seem like, I don't know, like I was just like really behind them in a way that you just aren't always like revved up behind all the faces in a match. But everybody there, I was like, yes, I want to see you do such, like, I want to see you humiliate the heel team. And I thought Will Hobbs did an amazing job, and I was thinking a lot about how, like, this is by far the best role that he's been in so long. And I was thinking about how when we met Will Hobbs, remember he was on the verge of like saving someone we liked, Darby, and we were so excited. We were like, oh my God, a Darby Will Hobbs team up would be so fun. We want to see Will Hobbs as a face. And then instead he turned heel, which is fine, but he was heel for so long. And he snarled a lot as a heel, and I didn't like that as much. And I just felt really happy. I was like, this is really a nice role for him. Like, he just seems like he's having fun, and I love rooting for him.
Yeah. And I think someone reported that someone saw on camera that he stopped, picked up a Young Buck bill, and put it in his pocket, in the middle of the match. And I just felt very pleased about that, to have him be like, I want a memento from this match, because I can tell even in the middle that it's going really fucking well. And it's like, yeah, it is. You look great.
That's so cute. That's so cute. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so long, chaotic match. Mark Briscoe came back during this one and helped the good guys lock a bunch of the bad guys in what I've called his ambulance. And then the Bucks were still out and about, and Kenny and Swerve took him out. Kenny put Matt through an exploding table, and Swerve stomped Nick with his new Reebok, the correct brand, Reebok shoes that he did arts and craft thumbtacks on, which we love to see. And the good guys won. Happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much fun. It was a great match.
Totally great match.
Fabulous.
And then we got some follow-up on Dynamite, including a trios match that was Willow, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Mark Briscoe versus Gabe Kidd, Jon Moxley, and Marina Shafir, which was a good match that I don't think introduced any new plot elements.
No, but I will say that someone posted today saying that the team of Mark Briscoe, Willow, and Speedball should be called was he, she, they, the pronoun express, and I fucking lost it.
That's very fun.
So hard.
That's awesome. Very fun. And then we also got a follow-up match that was Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe. Shibata had some very funny faces during Anarchy in the Arena. Actually, I should mention that. Oh, yeah. That man's faces are like, they're not underrated, I guess, but like I'm somehow surprised every time when they zoom in on him, and it's just like, wow, that was exactly the right face to be made. Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe versus a new faction called the Frat House. And they came out...
Bit of an off-putting faction, I would say, on introduction.
Everything about what was happening here was confusing to me. They come out. I think Leah said, she was like, oh, that's where Griff Garrison has been. I said, Griff Garrison? Griff Garrison still goes here? I don't know what he's been. I mean, it's like kind of like kudos to him for like whatever con he's pulling. It's like, you're still back there, bud? Good for you. And then they talked a lot about hazing, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like, is their manager the guy who was like managing the Iron Savages and like who sucked so bad and made me hate them when I liked them as like Bear Country? Yeah. And I was like, oh, we've kept him around. Yeah. Like the new, what was his name? Dan.
Oh, Lambert. God, Dan Lambert. Oh, my God. We had Dan Lambert for so long.
Oh, my God. It would not stop. Yeah. Thank God we're free. We should be grateful every day that we're free of Dan Lambert.
Gratitude practice more than ever.
The moral of this podcast is we simply have to be doing gratitude practice in the mirror every morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm shocked to hear you say it, Leah, but I'm appreciative.
I won't be recording it. I won't be recording it. It's not something I feel like you need to share with everybody.
So the problem is the recording it. That's where the issue comes in?
Well, I don't want to do it to your face either. I'll do whatever I want to in the privacy of my own bathroom.
I'm not trying to stop you. I'm not trying to stop you. Okay, you do whatever you want in front of your own mirror. That's so true. Yeah. So the frat house. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that happened. No. I don't know why this faction exists. I
was kind of like, are these the only men we have? Like, I feel like there's a lot of men I don't get to see in tag teams, but
I guess they have a right to try and get this over if they want. I was kind of like, it's so dicey to me. It's so dicey to bring up the frat house is a space that you want me to respond to. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm just like,
I do know what you mean.
That's a space I wouldn't touch.
And they had quite a long entrance with like a lot of video of
frat. I don't know. A lot of activity.
Like frat video.
A lot of frat activity. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were basic. They just need a new stable to be like the jobbers that can get beat. And so, like, it's fine, but I agree that I'm like, I don't want to be seeing them very often. You can pull them out for when you need, like, a premier athletes type group or what the fuck.
Right.
Maybe if they were like the engineering frat or something, like that would be cool. That'd be okay.
If they were like an MIT frat, exactly, like a computer science.
They were like
frat.
really into pranks or like fun, like MIT style pranks. Like, let's put a cow on a roof, like that kind of thing.
Right,
that'd be okay.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
I just don't want to be. I don't want to think about a lot of stuff the frats get up to. Only the cow on roof type stuff. Really. Yeah.
They can really do anything they want with a helicopter, but let's stay out of the frat house itself.
Exactly. That's a no-go. That's a no-fly zone for me. Okay. Hook did come out during Anarchy in the Arena for kind of an odd spot where I think he helped out the good guys. And Samoa Joe was really excited to see him, but then Hook kind of flung something like, "You're not the boss of me, Dad," and left. And it was like, oh, okay, that's a little strange. What do you think is next for Lil Hook? He's not in the... what I assumed, because I think Hobbs took his spot when he was out because of his concussion. And I assume they were like, this is a good spot for Hobbs, actually. We don't want to get rid of Hobbs again, which I think is really smart because this is a really good spot for Hobbs. And this is the most I felt like, oh, I'm going to get invested in Will Hobbs in a long time. What are we doing with Lil Hook, though?
I don't know, because Samoa Joe is really good for Hook, too. And Hook is good for Samoa Joe. Yeah. And I don't really see Hook thriving by himself.
No, I'm like, take Stokely away from FTR and put him with Hook.
Oh, put Stokely. I thought you meant put Hook with FTR, and I was like, all right, I'm listening. And make him their talker? I'm listening.
That actually would be fun in a very different way.
In a very different way, yeah. Okay, let's give that a shot. Let's just see.
I think that's might be a hard yes from me.
It's like, Tony, what if you take all your worst talkers and team them up and just see what happens?
But imagine handing a Hook of live mic and saying, explain why FTR are actually in the right here. Go ahead. You have 5 minutes.
I think he'd say something really unexpected,
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I don't know that it would feel pertinent, really. All right. Jamie and Mercedes opened the pay-per-view with, I've said here, a match that I can only describe as really, really, really good because I lack the ability to describe anything I've ever watched happen in wrestling-wise. This match rocked. I don't really know the moves that they did and stuff. I don't know about that, but I loved watching it, and I loved that it opened.
Yeah. It's a shame that Jamie's character stuff has kind of been all over the map because honestly she's one of my favorite wrestlers to just watch, and her and Mercedes really did they really did bring it. There was a couple times I even was like, is Jamie gonna win this?
Yeah, and Mercedes, I mean, she is really good all the time, but when you see her with someone else who's also really good, with her and Athena too, and then this match, you're like, oh yeah, I can see why she's a big deal. This is really good.
Yeah.
Just fast, hard hitting, felt really visceral.
Mm-hmm. I know. I think we said it during the Athena match, or maybe I said it, but I've really started to be like, oh, I get Mercedes now. I get the wrestling aspect of it, and you're right that it is when she's up against those other really high level opponents. You're like, I totally see it, and they just really seemed like they were hitting hard, And that's the kind of thing I always feel stupid saying because, like, I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if they are hitting hard or if they're just good at looking like they're hitting hard. I never know. But I know that when it seems credible, the match is way better.
Yeah, it's very true. And I never feel more like a man than when I say that kind of thing, you know? But it is true. It's like I want it to look like they're really doing some serious graps, I guess. I guess.
It's like you want to feel like their body's really in it, but their bodies are always really in it. I know that, but it's like there's just something visceral about like when you're like hearing the hits and you're just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I thought that was great. Then later in the show, Toni and Mina had their big match for the championship belt, and Toni won. And it was really, really, really good and really, really, really good for me. And I had a really...
And why was it good for you?
Because I liked it.
Did something happen that you liked?
Yeah, like what specifically?
I liked everything that happened, girl. I've never
anybody's body that really was good for you.
You know, we prize specificity in a promo, Allie. So let's get specific.
I'm not cutting a promo.
Are you not?
I'm not cutting a promo. I'm trying not to seem too much like a total filthy pervert. That I love those bodies so much, and they looked really good, and they did amazing wrestling, and they looked really cool. And Mina did this one spot off of Luther's back, and Luther was there, and that's cool too. And at one point, I said, I really appreciate that Luther has job security. I thought it was great. I mean, both. It was. We kept saying, all of us kept saying, like, it's so awesome. There were 2 women's matches on this pay-per-view, and they both totally fucking rocked. Like, they I just was like
so good
watching them beginning to end. Felt so into them. Like, cared a lot, questioned a lot. Like, I don't know who's going to win this. Like, even though I knew who was going to win, but being like they could zag me. Match. It was great.
Yeah, any match where it's like, I know going in who's going to win, but then in the middle of the match, they've tricked me into being like, but maybe not. Maybe Mina is going to win. Like, that's when it's like good wrestling, I feel like.
And again, I felt like this show had kind of a lot of it. Like, almost all the matches went the way that I thought they were going to, with a major exception. But almost everyone, there was a point where I was just like, I think I fucked up. I can't wait. I'm going to have egg on my face, and that's okay.
Yeah. And it was really, I mean, the pay-per-view as a whole, like we talked a little bit at the top, but it was so nicely paced, and the women's matches weren't positioned to be cool-down matches, which was great because they weren't cool-down matches.
No.
Like, they were really badass matches. But I felt like in most pay-per-views, there's like a soggy middle, or places where I'm like, oh, we can't go from this match to this match. Like, it's too much, too fast, you know, or whatever. But this one, like, things were just spaced really well for my experience.
I agree. I thought it was paced like pretty much perfectly. I wouldn't change anything that they did. There was a post after Toni won. She and Mina had they shared some like really heated words, and then some like heated glances, and they were heatedly getting closer and closer to each other. And then they shared a heated kiss. And
this is crazy.
My eyes were like bugging out of my head. Like, what the fuck?
I really never thought that wrestling would just take it as textual as Toni Storm has taken the homoeroticism.
It's so fucking cool. Mm-hmm. And then there was a moment where it's like she like kind of like pulled away really abruptly, and I was like, oh, and then it's gonna be a fake out. They're gonna like attack each other, and instead Mina like fell to her knees, clutching at Toni's legs like. That kiss rewired my brain. And it was like, fuck yeah, girl. Same. I loved it. Good for Toni Storm. Good for Mina. Can't wait to see more of what you have to do.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's crazy how much it doesn't come across as for like the male gaze or whatever. Like, I feel like every once in a while people react like they think it is, and it's like, oh no, like watching it is
it's for my gaze.
I mean, it's right. It's justified within their story, like it's their character, like it's come as part of a series of events. It's not like it's out of nowhere, and it was like extremely had nothing to do with the audience. You know, it's like
yes, exactly. Doesn't
you
feel
really felt like it's like they really like they get so hyped up on their own match that they just had to kiss about it. It wasn't for anything else.
Beautiful to see. So then we got a follow-up to this on Dynamite. Toni and Mercedes closed out the show with an in-ring segment where they had a back and forth about what is now their upcoming match at All In Texas. Mercedes declared herself not only the greatest TBS and Rev Pro champion of all time, but the greatest winner of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Toni had this reply where she was like, I've waited so long for you. 441 days ago, you arrived here. You've never once spoken to me. What took you so long? Which I was like, that's so sexy and juicy. And they were going back and forth. Mercedes, of course, has been doing the belt collector thing. So Toni said, well, you want all the titles. I need only one, which was a great riff on what Hangman and Ospreay had been doing with the want need thing, because I wasn't totally sure where she was going when she started it, but I was like, oh, there's some like echoes here. I thought that was really nice. And then they said some innuendos to each other. So
are you not going to read it?
I will read it. It's not a problem for me to read it. Toni said, if you want to ride the Monet train through the Toni tunnel, I just hope you can get deep enough. Which I think might be a fundamental misunderstanding about how tunnels work. I don't know. I'm totally sure. And then Mercedes said, Toni, darling, not even your hips are wide enough for the money train.
Hell yeah.
They're so deranged. I love that Mercedes leaned into it.
Yeah. Was so good. And then Toni leaned forward and like sniffed her, which was crazy.
In the most viscerally, it was like that, animalistic way.
Yes, because it was the little like, she like leaned in and then like, it was the little swoop of like, I don't know. And you were just like, this is weird werewolf stuff. And then they did some wrestling moves on each other, you know, and it's like, wow, they're going to see each other at All In. I think they were obliquely referencing that they were both at WWE at the same time throughout, and I kind of didn't. I was like, I could tell that something. I was like, that must be a WWE thing, but it was kind of weird.
I think that's what they were doing, and I appreciate that it is challenging to talk around. But what ended up happening is, Toni said, we both found success and then left it to come here. And I was like, I know what you're saying, but it does make it sound like you're like, I gave up everything to be in this
to be in this, what I lovingly call our garbage promotion. I thought this was a really good segment. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do over the next 6 weeks. And, like, because you have a lot of time, like, the match is set, you have a lot of time to, like, do some characterization riffs if you want to, especially Mercedes. So I'm interested.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Mercedes can kind of, you know, because her character work, I feel like it's getting better, but it's still pretty, you know, wooden and not real deep. So it'll be interesting to see, like, with working with Toni, like, where she gets to, you know.
Yeah, I kind of hope. I mean, the thing is, I'm pretty sure I'll be happy no matter what happens, so I'm not that concerned about it. But I do kind of hope that Mercedes loses that All In, and they do a series, or do a couple where Mercedes wins eventually. But I would love to see them draw this out for a while.
Yeah,
and do a couple
of matches.
Really
fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm excited. Ian, I think you had recorded this quote that I didn't fully remember, and then I read it. Do you want to read it?
Yeah, Toni said, "A little girl with big dreams will be watching, and she'll say, 'Holy shit, these bitches are crazy.'" She's just a comedy genius, just so good.
I'm so obsessed with that. It's like so funny, but also it's just like, honestly, yeah, like, you know, not a little girl, but like if she's like 12, and that'll be the biggest compliment of all time.
Yeah. I was also fascinated in this just visually because Toni was really working like the 50s, like, you know, like jump. I don't even know if you describe that outfit, but then like Mercedes kind of looked like how the people in the 90s thought the future would look like. It was like the bedazzled jumpsuit. But also something was going on with her cups because they were not fitting.
Yeah.
They were fitting in a weird sort of way that I actually was obsessed with.
The jumpsuit had a shorter torso than she does. So it's like they're hitting, because it's like they're hitting lower than they should be. I think, just based on my own experiences with women's clothes, that was my guess. You did say, Leah, while we were watching this, you were like, how much do you think she's spending on these jumpsuits? Like, it's not a cheap proposition to always be having a new bedazzled jumpsuit. I was thrilled. I immediately am Googling, like, cost of bedazzled jumpsuits, and I'm going to websites, like, being like, I think you can get one for $300, but who knows what the quality is. But, like, I love the designs I was seeing. So I'm, like, immediately, I'm like, should we be hopping in Mercedes Monet's DMs and being like, I found some bedazzled jumpsuits, like, these could work for you? Like, maybe give them
I think she'd love it, frankly.
Yeah.
I think they're having fun on that team. I mean, her costume team. I don't know why I'm acting like she's a costume team. Like, anyway. Okay. Also on Dynamite, really quickly, this was the pre-show, and on Dynamite we had a tag team match between Anna Jay, Harley Cameron, and Penelope Ford and Megan Bayne. And I don't know that we have time to really get into that, but some good stuff, some mixed stuff, you know.
Their pre-show match was actually really great. I thought I had a good time watching it. It was like, I feel like some of their best work. I was like, oh, good. These girls, the women's division is really doing great.
I'd love to see it.
It's really nice to be in that place where you're just ambiently happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jamie came out on Dynamite. She was supposed to have an in-ring segment with Renee to address her loss to Mercedes at the pay-per-view. Instead, almost immediately, it was like 5 seconds, Renee asked a question, the lights went off. And when the lights finally came back on, Thekla was finally debuting. We had been told online by people that it would happen, and then apparently teased with spiders for weeks, although at one point during the pay-per-view, I think we must have been pretty tired at this point, but I guess it must have been after like one of the Toni Mina women's match. Leah just goes, well, then what did we see all those spiders for? And I hadn't heard about the spider thing and was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Didn't see all those spiders. I still don't know where we saw spider.
A little
they just show up on the corner of the screen and stuff.
A little red spider graphic was on the corner of the screen when you weren't expecting it.
I didn't notice that even one time. Well, we had been told that Thekla would be coming. She did debut. She attacked Mercedes. She did this is clearly a signature move. She does like a back bend, and then really fast she like rotates onto her front. And it did look totally fucking insane. I loved it.
Loved it.
Loved everything about her little cool. grease spider look. I'm excited to see more. Thoughts?
Yeah, I loved her on site for sure. I was a little confused why they didn't do it at the pay-per-view, and then a little confused why they didn't do a little longer segment.
I definitely thought it could have been a significantly longer segment.
Especially because that Dynamite wasn't that interesting. So I'm like, why didn't any of that other stuff get shortened? Because, I mean, like, first of all, I did sort of think, I'm like, Jamie should have gotten more of a, like, she should have actually gotten to talk a little. And she should have gotten to fight back a little bit. Like, I'm like, please, Jamie just did a really good match. I think like, she could have gotten a little more respect that way.
Defense in.
And, and then also I'm like, you're introing this person who nobody, well, not nobody, like people from Stardom know her, obviously. I think she's been on other stuff, but I think like a large portion of the audience may not know her yet. You could, do a little more, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be crazy.
Of course, we're all impressed with her feats of strength and speed.
Of course.
But I'd love to hear what she had to say.
Yeah. I know many really, really enjoyed this episode of Dynamite, which I think is wonderful. I had a totally fine time. And I know that after a pay-per-view, of course, like, everyone's in the, you've got wounded soldiers everywhere. Tony Khan is wandering through the battlefield infirmary being like, Hangman, are you here? Like, are you well? Like, I need my boys. Are any of my boys and girls here? Like, I understand. Everyone's fucked up. But I did think this was like kind of a next level filler episode in that the matches were really good, but there were almost no new plot points to be seen.
Yeah.
And I kind of like to get a little new plot point. We got one big one.
It's pretty unusual for the Dynamite after a pay-per-view, because usually, like, the pay-per-view doesn't introduce plot points, but then the Dynamite does. Because often I'm like, I don't know if we have that much to talk about, and the Dynamite gives us a lot. And this week it was the opposite.
It was really the opposite, yeah. So again, I'm not shitting on the Dynamite. I think it was a good Dynamite. The matches were good, but I did think like, I don't know, we could set up one or two more little angles, and I think we could have taken some time from some of those matches and maybe given it to Spider-Girl to do something. So that's just my take. Okay, let's get into the big meat of the pay-per-view. Hangman and Ospreay had their main event. We got a little of the like road to Double or Nothing package beforehand, and then we had this special Hangman package where he was like in the desert with his baby's crib, being like, sometimes things happen to a man, and you start to wonder if you don't even know who you are anymore, and then you wonder if you're maybe a bad guy, but then you wonder if you're a good guy actually. Didn't do any of that. He picked up an Ankh, and I didn't realize that that's what he was the first time I saw it, and then I went back and rewatched it. And he like picks this Ankh up out of the sand, and he's kind of like looking at it. And I would say that this is about the time that we'd been on this podcast. I think we'd really been controlling ourselves for the past month, being like, in wrestling, you'll never get anything you want. So sometimes you can't want anything. And I personally had been, as you know, really going through something, a lot of which boiled down to like, I'm increasingly concerned that I'm narratively illiterate, because I see things happening on screen and I know what I think they would mean if you were writing a normal narrative, but I know that can't be the narrative that's being told. So I'm confused. Like Moonster, I'm confused because this doesn't make sense. We're going to get an outcome that doesn't match this narrative. I can't make it make sense. So we've all been like, Hangman, no win, never win. It was a real about face from some of us.
I would say about 3 seconds into the promo package, Allie sat up like she fucking got possessed by some kind of demon, leaned forward, and in a voice summoned from the depths of hell said, "If Hangman doesn't win, I'm killing everyone."
I did lose my mind. I mean, my experience of watching this match was like, I had lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, I care so much about Hangman winning. If he doesn't win, if you gave him that promo package and he doesn't win, like, I don't understand. I truly don't understand anything. Yeah. He has to win. And I was out of my mind for the rest of the match. Yeah. I totally
Especially
lost
when Ospreay didn't get a similar promo package.
He didn't.
Like he got he got a special entrance, but it wasn't the same kind of video that Hangman got. And that was also the point for me, that I was like, that doesn't make sense. If
Toni,
none of this is making sense, Toni, you have to let Hangman win. You right?
This experience, I have to say, this was a real come to Jesus moment for me, where I was like, oh, being on the wrestling internet, being a smark, trying to know the behind the scenes gossip and know what's going to happen makes you dumber than hell. It makes you get worked more than if you just watch the goddamn show. Because it's like, in retrospect, how many weeks in a row did I say on this podcast, like, well, I guess it was a great promo if Hangman's going to win, but he's not, so I don't know what they're doing. Well, he was going to win. He was going to win. The answer was very obvious. It was obvious from everything on screen that he was going to win, and then he won. Then he win match. Like, so I don't know. And then they're trying to. Sean Ross Sapp is out here being like, "Oh yeah, they didn't decide on it until the day of." Like, how dumb do you think I am?
Once, shame on you. Work me twice, won't get worked again, baby.
You're sick of it. Shit. It's crazy. Like, oh yeah, they did a perfect build by accident, not knowing who was going to win.
Makes no
and
sense.
Actually, like at the beginning of the match, like after that video package for Hangman, because I take my notes like live. Yeah. I wrote a thing where I was like, wow, like, because I hadn't quite articulated this to myself because I thought it was Ospreay being incompetent. But then I was like, it's actually really weird for Hangman to participate in a promo that makes the audience want the wrong thing. In fact, I can't remember another time he's ever done it where the promos he gave didn't match the outcome.
Yeah.
So I was actually like, well, maybe Hangman has decided that like he's never going to get booked to win, but maybe he needs to like get the audience to want it so bad that you get like a Danielson-esque like WWE thing campaign. I was like, maybe he's going into business for himself, and if so, good for him. And then I saw the end, and I was like, no, he was just doing his appropriate promos.
He's just doing his job really well the way he always does.
The way he always does. And I don't know. It's just like everyone on the internet being like so concerned about not getting tricked that we're all being the guy in The Princess Bride being like, well, only a complete fool would take the glass in front of him, and I'm not a complete fool, so I'll take your glass, except you know that I'm not a complete fool, so I shouldn't take the glass in front of you. And it's like,
just play the game, baby. Just play the game that's on the screen.
So stupid.
I will say, I think there's two things. I mean, I think you've articulated the one very real thing with Hangman, which is that if you are online in the IWC and you are like have been tuned into the behind the scenes shit for a long time, like that's really impacting how you think about how Hangman's booking, like what's possible for him, what's probable for him, what's going to happen for him. That's one aspect. I do think the other thing is like, I think there have been, especially if you go back to like Hangman's actual reign and the loss to Punk, there were a series and then kind of a long series of moments where it's like the Hangman character, like this isn't working right. Like, I think that like, I don't know how to put this, but where like, I do think that Hangman's booking has been sometimes not the stuff that he said, but sometimes on screen has been like, I don't understand this because this guy was set up this way, but now he's like being booked weird. He's not around. Like,
it is true. Like, the booking does also impact, like, our expectations.
But it's both. It's totally both of them.
But it's totally both, because I don't think I would think about it that much if it weren't for behind-the-scenes stuff.
I wouldn't have been at the level that I was at of, like, there's no way he could win without the behind-the-scenes stuff. But I do still think that, like, you've seen him, like, I don't know, like, you've seen him be near the top, but not, like, at the top enough times that it was kind of like, I can't believe that it could happen for him.
Yeah.
It was a crazy viewing experience. So then, anyway, he comes out, they're doing the Neon Desert thing. It looks incredibly cool. I have to say, like, I thought that some of the visuals of this pay-per-view were just, like, really next level. Like, they were, like, unique and just so fun to look at. Ospreay comes out. They're in the ring together. Hangman is standing there ready to start the match. Ospreay starts like running in place. He's like doing some like little like push-ups. Like he's being really showy, which was a good setup for the match that they then have, where like Hangman is so locked in and just like totally focused on like, I'm hitting so fucking hard and I'm not taking my eyes off the prize. And Ospreay is like, I love doing cool. Why don't you do any of my cool wrestling moves with me? And the match itself, like, I can't believe how engaged I was with this match.
Yeah, it was fascinating because it was like, yeah, like you guys, I also had bought into everything I was reading and hearing saying that Ospreay was absolutely going to win, and I didn't want to do the thing. I did like up until the moment the match started, I was like, there's no point in believing. But then it was like during the match, like everything sort of, that we just unhinged and was like, okay, fuck the internet. Like, I want Hangman to win, and I'm going to uncomplicatedly root for him. Yeah. And then the match was structured such that it kept getting you. Like, there kept being these moments where you were like, oh, fuck, it's over. It's not over. It's not over. Like, I was tense and sitting up the whole time.
And I was still, like, gaming it kind of and being like, okay, so it's like if Hangman just had that come back, then, like, there's no way that he can win because, like, Ospreay is going to do X. And then it's just like they just did something different. And it was like at a certain point I did stop being like, I think I know what's happening in this match, which was so sexy and freeing to just be like, I got no fucking clue where they're going to go. Yeah. And, like, this feels so good.
Oh my God. When he hit that final buckshot lariat, I was sitting there like, wait, but that's his finisher. Yeah. That's the finisher. Is he gonna? And then he won.
I was in like total shock, and then just like leapt up screaming. Yeah. I mean, lost it.
Yeah.
It was so exciting. And I thought it was really interesting, like, that a lot of the story of the match was, like, Ospreay kind of, like, losing his cool, you know? Like, and being, like, too emotional and kind of getting the better of him because of that. And I think it'll be interesting because his character in promos hasn't really been that guy. So I would kind of like to see from him if he's, like, golden retriever, but also a bit of a hothead, you know, or also, like, gets really emotional when frustrated. Like, I think that would be an interesting thing for him to explore.
That's the number one thing I want from this for Ospreay is I'm like, you got handed something so juicy. Like, this loss, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it, and you can really make it matter. And I think that there's a point, like, I think he has all the tools to sculpt a story in which, like, next summer or whenever, he has me panting for him to win. You know what I mean? Like, if he tells the story of, like, a guy who thought he was the guy and turned out not and had to confront some stuff, like, about his own self and then had to take the slow journey to get back to challenging for again, I can see a point in which I'm like, if Ospreay doesn't win, I'm going to kill everybody on the city block. But he has to actually use any of this stuff, and I'm really, really hoping that he does. I really want that for him.
Yeah. Honestly, this whole thing makes me feel sort of better about everyone's, like, storytelling abilities, because I'm like, if Mox has a brain, he will lose it to Hangman because it will retroactively make his whole reign make a lot more sense. Like, it's an ending that would wrap it up nicely. And, like, Ospreay's smart too, because, like, if he were the one who won here, like, it'd be hard to root for him at this stage to beat Mox, especially when Mox's whole thing was, like, with AEW originals and whatever. And it's like, it'd be better for him to have, like, a build that's about him and, you know, a little bit longer. So I think everybody will come out ahead if Hangman wins this title at All In.
And I do think there are some, like, really interesting beats that Ospreay could do after, like, this feud and this match, and the fact that, like, so much of, like, the stuff that he was saying in the build to this match was that, like, I'm just a professional, I do my job. Like, he doesn't want to talk about any of, like, his personal shit. He doesn't want to bring up the Kyle stuff, like, all that stuff. And then he's in this match and, like, he's getting, like, outfought in a way he doesn't understand, because it's like the depth of feeling gives Hangman a focus. Like, it's like caring about something, like, enough that you're willing to, like, that you feel the bad stuff, but, like, you also feel the good stuff. Like, that's where the energy comes from. And, like, he's kind of, like, losing his cool because he doesn't have that. You know what I mean? It's like, you could do something really interesting with Ospreay being like, if my argument to, like, a Hangman is like, I'm a person, then you have to be a person, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess he didn't make that argument to Hangman. We just thought he should, but I think there's something there. I just think there's something there. Yeah. Like, it's just to be like, okay, well, I thought I did everything right. Like, I was like doing my job, and it's like, okay, well, you know, you gotta love it though. Like, you gotta there's something has to be driving you, and, like, you can't, like, repress your feelings about the bad stuff that happens and just be like, it's fine, I'm just doing my job. Like, you've got to feel them.
Yeah. Because then the bad stuff might come out in little temper tantrums in your match, and that doesn't do good for you.
It's not good.
You've got to express your feelings.
Buddy. You gotta express your feelings. I love the kindergarten storytelling of wrestling, but it's so important, you know?
That is that good feeling of, like, letting yourself want something and risk the disappointment. Yes. You know, it's very exhilarating, and it felt a lot better than me trying to be a smart.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that definitely was my. I mean, it's hard because it's like, yeah, I'm like, a lot of times you won't get the outcome you want if you, like, throw yourself in. You're like, I believe that. Although it's like, if you're following the narrative of this one, I guess I would. I guess if I thought that. I thought I could trust what I was seeing with my eyes. I would have been
with my eyes. I know. I'm like, why is the wrestling media constantly gaslighting me? Like, they're always telling me that what I see with my eyes is not what's happening. You know, they're like, Christian is ruining AEW. And I was like, how? I only see him 2 minutes a week.
It's so.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. Probably he is.
I don't know. The brightest thing that we've said at all. You can't know anything. You can't truly know anything. But it is so funny to be like, we showed up here every week being like, I thought I saw something pretty clear, but I think it can't be right. So I'm it was a really good
just constantly playing this game of, like,
oh my God.
this this game of like, is this incompetence? Is this on purpose? What are they doing?
Christ.
What do I know?
So fucking funny.
I've been watching Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal. His season just wrapped up. It's been so good. But it's really funny when you ever read articles about it because he goes like deep kayfabe, I would say. Yeah. But normies don't know how to interact with kayfabe. So they're always reading articles that are like, wow, I think he might have just realized he was autistic on screen. And I'm like, guys, he did not.
I had a long conversation with someone in my grad school program at a party once where she was like, Nathan Fielder is a sociopath. And I know that because my third eye is open and I always know a sociopath when I see one.
Okay.
And she was like, my ex-boyfriend was a sociopath. And I just had to be there in the conversation being like, I don't know. I'm not sure that I think that's what's going on.
I'm not sure you can diagnose people you've never met.
She's like,
who are playing an elaborate character all the time.
I always know. I wish I had the terminology that I have now to be like, I think that's just his kayfabe character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay,
what are we talking about here? Oh, the end of this. So Hangman wins. Totally fucking absolute insane moment. Hangman goes to leave, and then it's a callback to the moment where he stopped and didn't, and looked back at Swerve after their what type of match was it? Whatever, syringe match.
Texas
death, whatever.
Was it a Texas?
I thought it was in the cage. It might have been the cage match. Whatever. He turned and looked back, and then he was like, "No, I'm a monster," and he left. So this time he looks back at Ospreay, and Ospreay, this is the best body acting I've seen from him. Maybe this is all I want. It's like when we're being like, just make him show some emotion. This is all I want. Is that he looks back at Ospreay as kneeling in the ring, just looking like, how could this happen to me?
I mean, he looked really crushed. Like, he did a good job of face acting. I was kind of shocked.
I was proud of him. And Hangman went back to the ring, and he offered Ospreay his hand, and it was kind of like, you said if I won, then you'd have my back, and if you won, I should have your back. And you weren't sure if Ospreay, because he'd gotten mad in the match. He was pissy. And then he shook his hand. I think they shook hands, right? They shook hands. Whatever the equivalent was. Yeah. I was stroked out at this point. And then he posted on Twitter like the next day. He said, go get your belt back, cowboy. Great. So all great. And Hangman has a moment on the ramp to be like, we did it, Joe. So then on Dynamite, we open with Hangman coming out to cut a promo about his win. Did not have the full transcript, couldn't totally transcribe it, but I will, maybe you guys will be able to say exactly all the content of what he said. I remember that he was basically talking about, like, this is why I'm ready to win this belt back, and this is what the belt means to me. And he was saying shit you don't hear anybody else say it. He was saying shit you don't hear anybody else say in wrestling. Like, stuff like, what matters is the human dignity with which we all treat each other. Yep. I was on my fucking feet. I was like, there is no other face in wrestling who literally ever comes out and just says straightforwardly cool moral shit.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And talking about the belt as something that, like, symbolizes all those things, which also, like, I would like them to lean into more, where, like, the belt kept rejecting CM Punk whenever he got his hands on it. And I think the belt as a moral force is something I would love to dig deeper into.
Cool. And it's so cool to just be like, in general, like, even if you don't want to talk about the belt, like, being its own moral force, like, it's so cool to just say, like, if something is a symbol of power, then you should, like, moral people should wield it. And if someone immoral is wielding it, then you as a moral person have, like, a responsibility to step up and try and take it back and do good things with it instead. Mm-hmm. That's so cool. I'd love it if more people felt that way,
Yeah.
That really worked for me. So he's cutting this promo. Mid-promo, Swerve's music hits. He comes out. He's like, cool speech, bro. Let's pause real quick, though, because I want to remind you of something that happened a little minute ago, around about the time of Revolution. On the screen, he puts up this speech that the Young Bucks gave after they stole Swerve's victory over Mox when they returned after their long absence. And they're saying, we did it for our good friend Hanger. You're welcome, Hanger. And Swerve's like, I want you to tell me, and I want you to be fucking honest with me. I want you to tell me if you told them to do that. I want to know if you planned to take that victory from me, because you said that I would never hold that belt again.
And his tone when he said that was so perfect, because he was staring at Hangman so intensely. And his vibe was very much like, if you fucking lie to me, I'll be able to tell. Yeah. So don't even fucking try. It was perfect.
Yeah. It felt very like in a way they have a very intimate relationship. You know, it's like they know each other better than anybody does. You know,
it's such a good.
I
like that very much too. Thank you for flagging it. I like it too. I will also say, on a lighter note, Swerve was wearing such a cute outfit. I was like, God, I gotta own it. Like, I gotta have those little cargo pants and that little jean jacket. I was like, you're so cute. I wish you were my girlfriend.
It's crazy how good his outfits always are and how cute he always looks.
Cute guy.
Just like, Swerve, you're the one doing it.
So Hangman kind of thinks for a second, and he's like, I did not tell them to do that. In fact, like, there was a moment where I thought that I would intervene on your behalf, that I would act to stop Mox's crew from cheating.
And I think he called it something like for one god awful moment or one horrible moment, something like that, which is like,
And it's like, he clearly still doesn't know what would have happened. You know what I mean? What would have happened if not for Mommy's little rat boys? Mommy's little revolutionary rat boys got on in there before he had to make that decision. So Swerve, I thought this was really...
Oh, and Hangman also said, if I were going to sabotage you, I would do it myself,
he did,
which also is very intimate.
Extremely intimate, yeah. And so Swerve is giving him this narrow look. It's very interesting to try and unpack this, because ultimately he says, okay, cool. Still sounds like shit. Sounds like bullshit to me. Like, he says, like, I don't fucking believe you. I think he did. I think he could see. They're very intimate. I think he could see the truth. Yeah. But that's a really hard thing to hear from somebody that you have such a contentious relationship with, and to have to, like, try and onboard that, like, okay, yeah, he didn't do that. He would have helped me.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
So they're having this little interaction, and somewhere backstage.
Also, they are so close to each other. They're in kissing pose. They are like furious with each other in a way where you're like, oh, they are about to have hate sex.
This is where the dam breaks.
Someone backstage sees this and thinks, you know what, they need a third party.
Someone backstage is like, oh my God, they're so close to kissing. You know what? I love kissing.
Does anybody have a cup chair?
They'll be so excited to see me right now.
Would not sit in a cuck chair. He would wiggle right
he'd never stay in the chair.
Bed. That is not a man who could be contained to a cuck chair.
You have to stop in the middle and keep being like, Will, back in your chair. It never lasts very long. It just kind of ruins the mood.
It's not like he's even like trying to get, he's like just on the bed, like looking at you real close.
Getting close, yeah.
One knee on the bed, being like, I'm still standing.
This is really good, guys. This is going really well. I'm loving this.
Like, literally, if you leave the dog in the room while you're doing it, like little paws up on the bed. Like, oh, this isn't working.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. Okay, so Will Ospreay's music hits. He comes on out. He's like, they cannot figure this out without old Ospreay. But I can't stop saying to myself, on Trish and Sarah this week, amazing episode of Trish and Sarah. Everybody go listen. Really, they hit a lot of the key points. I think that we shared a lot of their sentiments. But at one point, Sarah said something like, she was like, and the thing is, you know, it's like, you're not ruining Ospreay, like, by having him have this loss. Like, he's right there. He's hot and ready. And I lost it. I just go, hot and ready Ospreay. Ospreay, hot and ready. And then I realized I'd forgotten his first name. And so I'm just going, Ospreay, hot and ready Ospreay. And now I can't stop saying it myself. Ospreay, hot and ready Ospreay. Hell yeah.
He needs to make it a t-shirt.
And I want it with like for it to be like a fast food chain advertisement.
Like In and Out, except it's hot.
Yeah.
Hot
and like
ready.
he could be doing one of his like signature moves, but he's like in a little burger box and there's like steam coming off him. Ospreay, hot and ready Ospreay.
God, that'd be such a good shirt. I would buy it, maybe.
I would love to wear that.
Hot and ready Ospreay with a burger box with Ospreay's face coming. Are you kidding me? And it's like a pink shirt or red, you know? Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. It would be so good. It would be such a good show. Why was I bringing that up? Oh, just the Ospreay hot and ready. Ospreay comes on out and he hops in the ring and he's like, guys, I see you about to kiss. I'd love to get in on this. They're disgruntled. This guy. So then we have this series of moments where it's like Ospreay's like trying to talk to Hangman, Ospreay's trying to talk to Swerve, and he's just basically being like, "Can we all get together? Can we all get together? Get along? I mean, get along. Can we all just get along?"
Ospreay told Swerve that Swerve's always been like a big brother to him, and he's looked out for him since he was 20. I was like, Ospreay, with your track record, like, does that mean that one time when you were 20, you forgot your wallet and like Swerve spotted you for like a Snickers bar, and that's all the interaction you had? Like,
it's like, if you felt this way, why did this not come up when you guys fought each other?
It's hard.
You guys did a promo.
You know, it's hard to get into season 2, realize that you didn't do some stuff in season 1 that would have set up the stuff you need to do in season 2, and then just be like, guess we'll just joss ourselves, you know?
Just be like, as we all know, Swerve and I are best friends.
Ospreay with that big Dawn energy, just like, what am I watching right now? What is this?
And then he's like, guys, we have one shot at this, and if we all work together, we can get the belt. And it's like, I don't think Hangman asked either of you to get involved in his title shot.
It doesn't make sense. On some levels, it doesn't make sense. Like, Ospreay comes out, he's just like, I can't believe you guys aren't getting along. We all have to get along, because the thing is that I had a total brainwave. After I lost that match, which Hanger won, and he won it fair and square, I just realized, like, I'm not the guy to beat Mox, and you're not the guy to beat Mox. I'm afraid it's got to be Hanger. We all know that. We got to work together to get it done, because we only have one shot, as you said, Ann. We've only got one shot. It's like, what do you mean you only got one shot? I mean, it's like, you get another shot. You know, there's always another shot. Like, there's no point at which, like, he has
there's
the
a lot of pay-per-views, Ospreay.
But we've only got one shot. We've only got that one shot.
Only one shot with his two best friends in the whole wide world.
He's like, guys, we could literally be like the Charmed Sisters. And I feel it in my bones that we could do it.
There's nothing but comedy to have that screenshot of like Swerve and Hangman staring at each other, seething, furious, and then standing right behind them is Ospreay with his stupid fucking hair and the look on his face. Like, what if we were a team? Like, should we all put our hands in right now and we'll say on one, right? Should we? Should we just do it?
When I see two people who've burned each other's houses down and broken in and they hate each other, I say, wow, if I were there, we'd be a team, though. I bet I could solve
this. Maybe the reason that they don't work as a couple is because they need to be a throuple.
With me, Will Ospreay.
It's so funny to picture, like, this going down and Ospreay's backstage, and he just goes, I think I could fix this. And everyone around him is like, no, you can't. He's like, I think I can. And then goes running out there.
I think I can. The thing is, I thought it was a bit silly. I loved everything before Ospreay came out. Ospreay came out, I'm like, this is a bit silly because it's a bit on the nose to be like, guys, we have to do our superhero team up. But at the same time, it was a return to the Cloud stories of yore 1 month ago. Because it was just like, yeah, this is 100% how I imagine Ospreay's character. This is how I've been tracking him. We kind of detoured from it when we were doing the build with Hangman because it's not that he was doing stuff that was totally out of character, but like we just didn't have this like Ospreay hot and ready, Ospreay little puppy on the bed energy. But now that he's being the little puppy on the bed again, that's a guy I fell in love with. That's my sweet boy. That's my sweet boy. He's so stupid. He has the dumbest ideas, but he's just going back and forth between them like, guys, please, guys, I swear, if we all work together, we can be so happy together. And I liked it. I did like it.
You know, I had the time of my life. Like, there is a certain kind of wrestling bad that's just a rush you never get anywhere else, you know, and then Swerve and Hangman both stomp out, vowing that they'll never
Swerve said, I
work
never
with
will.
that guy.
Hangman said, never, not in a million years. Yeah, they're mad. Where's it going? I hope somewhere really fucking sexy. And I hope that Will Ospreay is there putting his paws on the bed. That's what I...
Do you think they've been backstage with Hangman barging into Swerve's dressing room and then he shoves Swerve against the wall and kisses him real nasty and then Will Ospreay's always coming in?
Like, oh my God.
Have you seen Hangman? And Ray's like, well, he just went, and okay.
He's busts in the locker room too, like, oh my God, are you discussing our strategy? Should we just talk about what we're going to do with Mox?
But I can't.
Guys, are you doing warm-ups against the wall? Are you doing stretches? I can do stretches.
Absolutely. I was like, I can't imagine him knowing that it's kissing. I guess I don't want them to get all the way to kissing. I want them to be so close, though. I want them to be within like a hair's breadth, and they both know that's what's about to happen. And it's like, yes, because but in both their heads, they're like, plausible deniability. I can't think straight. Like,
their pelvises are rubbing together already. Yeah, and that's when Ospreay
comes in and guys, what's going on here? I've been wanting you guys to be friends so bad. And they're like, we're not fucking friends.
We're fighting.
We're trying to fucking...
Mommy and Daddy make Spider-Man noises sometimes. We're playing a game.
It should just have to leave that... Hangman has to leave that locker room being like, I'm glad that I didn't make a mistake. Just like breaking a vase in his hand.
He and Ospreay come stalking out, like with Ospreay trailing behind him, and Ray's like, Hangman, can I get that interview? It's like wound so tight. Didn't get the release he was looking for. Now Osprey's following him around.
Wow, that's rough. Oh my God. Well, I'm happy, you know. I like it. I like it all.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see where it goes. Anything else you want to say about all of that?
Wow, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
The fact that we actually are going to get our Wet Hot American Summer after all.
Crazy.
Didn't know, but now.
Didn't know.
It feels so fucking good.
And the fact that Swerve is in the mix, I didn't think Swerve would be in the mix
know.
of this build.
Yeah,
I am horned up. They could not be doing better.
I know. And then I feel bad that my first thought is IWC pilled. I'm like, well, he's a draw. They're acknowledging that he's a draw. Thus they got to keep him in the mix, so they get him in the draw, and then he's the draw. Allie, I think that it's okay to just say, like, I'm excited that they're almost going to make out against every surface at every arena that they go to, and that Will Ospreay will be there with his paws on the bed. Fuck yes.
It's a beautiful image. It's going to be beautiful. Beautiful dog summer.
Hot dog summer.
Hot dog summer! Hot and ready hot dog summer!
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm writing it down. That's going to be the title of this episode.
Hot and ready hot dog summer. And
nice. And maybe a t-shirt.
Maybe a t-shirt, because listen.
We got that ad money.
I know I said burger box, but think hot dog bun. Will Ospreay is in it, and he's kind of poking his little head over it.
And then Hangman and Swerve are like on either side of the hot dog container, and they're glaring. Hot and ready, hot dog summer.
To be perfectly frank, that's the only t-shirt that I want to wear to All In, Texas. Hot and
Frank's
hot, hot and ready hot dog summer. I have to come down, Allie. Too excited. Well, you know what? We have the perfect item here to bring us down a little bit, to cool us off. And it's called the Don Callis family versus the Paragon. Now, Lee, I think you said something very beautiful in your notes. You said, I have nothing to say about this cool-down match, nothing but respect to these men. This came between Anarchy in the Arena and the main event. Mm-hmm. I think there was a little back and forth online about, like, should they have just gone Anarchy in the Arena to the main event? No. I wouldn't have made it.
Not.
I would not have fucking made it.
It's not healthy.
No,
it's not safe.
That's what I'm saying. The Paragon and DCF made a sacrifice for all of us. They died so that we may live.
Yes, absolutely.
I say thank you.
Yes.
And it's a great use of Adam Cole. You know, he was really done us a little dirty on some pay-per-views.
He sure has.
I thank him for his service.
He owes us a little bit of a debt, I think. Mm-hmm, and so this was a little bowl of pear sorbet. And it wasn't offensive to me.
No, nothing. It did not trouble me in any way.
Didn't trouble me in any way. Mm-mm. But I will say, I thought something a little fun about it was at the end, Brody King came out, and then Tanahashi came out, and they didn't do anything except stand in the ring. And I
forgot about that.
It was like my bowl of sorbet had an even weirder flavor at the bottom. It had like cedar smoke flavor at the bottom, and I was like, what the heck is that? And then I was like, oh God, next match. So I thought that was kind of a perfect little cap of like, what's happening? Good for them.
Beautiful. Loved it.
I loved Tanahashi coming out because it was just sort of like somebody called their mom and Tanahashi showed up.
like, oh, right, Forbidden Door, I guess. Great.
Yeah.
But cool. Love to see him. He's beautiful.
Who called him? Like, I don't even know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he had Ishii with him.
Oh, right.
So it was
Ishii
like,
was there.
my son Ishii is here, and you better let him into your party.
I forgot that when Ishii came out, we were just like, it's so crazy that Ishii is like always here, but he doesn't go here. He goes to the other promotion. And then I was like, the vibe really is that he like just realized he really loves one thing we have in catering. And so he's like, oh, I'll just kind of hang out with that. I love what they're up to in catering. So I just go hang out there. And I love it. I love seeing you. I don't know why any of you were here. And I didn't understand the match really because I didn't watch it. And but I do salute our troops, and they served a really important purpose.
I really needed to not watch a match at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Okay, and then I don't think you know what, I'm going to move this here. Let's just get it out of the way. The Hurt Syndicate match happened. Still don't fucking understand anything about. I don't know why the plot has been happening. I don't know what the plot is. In the middle of the match, I think Bobby Lashley and MJF like started really getting along. I was like, what do you mean? So they like each other now? I don't fucking know. The only thing we're saying about this, which was referenced earlier, was that on the pre-show, Sammy and Dustin Rhodes got interviewed by none other than Alex Marvez, and we had been begging, or just that morning, begging for his return. And at one point when he was doing the interview, he said something to Sammy about like the Hurt Syndicate or whatever he asked, and Sammy said something like blah blah blah, the Hurt Syndicate, blah blah blah, and Alex Marvez turned and like smirked at the camera, just like they're not good guys. And I said, this is why I hope they pay you the big bucks, millions per year. Millions. You're everything to me. You are everything to me.
He seems so chipper and happy. It's like, which is how I felt seeing him. Thank you, Alex Marvez. Thank you, Tony Khan, for giving me Alex Marvez.
Just a little Alex Marvez.
Need a little more, but
you know what? It can't be overstated, like how important it is to sometimes it's like you love someone who's transitioned to a backstage role. You just need to occasionally get proof of life and be like, they're still happy and they're still employed.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, if a certain person could come out with security
I would say that we could use a certain person with security sometime soon because it's been a real minute since we saw a bit of proof of life. I'd love to see that again. Let's bring that as we cruise perhaps towards the end of a Death Rider storyline. Maybe let's bring back some of those early players and maybe Hangman says like this one's for you, Chuck Taylor. That kind of
maybe Hangman has Chuck Taylor second him because
I just imagine. Unfortunately, this is still taking place in the cuck chair room. Dustin has been summoned to it, and his vibe is like, get the fuck out of here. You guys are having hate sex on the bed. Will Ospreay is pretending to be a dog. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't like this.
Truly, any single one of our cloud stories somewhere, Chuck Taylor's like, get me out.
I don't want to be part of that. We'll see. We'll see if you could end up being a part of it. It would be okay.
Yeah.
So thank you for showing us Alex Marvez, and I love him. And Sammy got pinned, which seemed crazy. I mean, I just don't. How could you do that to my child, my useless son?
He's the youngest person in the match by like 20 years, and he took the pin. Like, okay.
Yeah. Why did he take the pin? That's crazy.
I don't know.
It's literally crazy.
And that it's gonna come up in a minute in the next one too. What are we doing to our children?
I don't know.
Lately,
Before,
what are we doing
earlier that day? Like trying to think, like, what will this match end up being about? I had a bunch of different theories. I was just like spitballing, where I was like, okay, maybe MJF and Sammy are going to team up, and then they're going to like attack the Hurt Syndicate, or like maybe Sammy's going to turn on Dustin Rhodes and like join the Hurt Syndicate. Like I was like, there's got to be some plot thing that's going to happen. Nothing did. There wasn't a single plot element. Sammy just got murdered, and Dustin Rhodes was there.
It was like the contract signing where you're like, but the only reason to have a contract signing is for someone to turn.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise we're just watching documents get signed.
And I only like that in a document movie. I only like that in a paper-pushing movie.
Yeah. It's like, this isn't Spotlight.
This isn't Spotlight. Guys. You haven't earned it. God, I gotta watch Spotlight, like, now. Pretty much now. My favorite movie. Okay. You guys remember a little match? This is our final item. You guys remember a little match called FTR versus Nigel McGuinness and Danny Garcia.
I remember one out of those 4 participants.
I remember a match that was about Nigel and Tony Schiavone's marriage. Yeah.
I went to write this section and I said, do any of us have any idea what the plot of this match was aside from the Tony Nigel section? I'm guessing no. Agree?
No.
Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not idea.
Multiple
We're
people-
FTR there.
Apparently.
Multiple people I saw on the internet be like, why was this match so long? This match should have been shorter. What were these, like, discussing the wrestling? I don't know what any of you were talking about. This match was perfect. I didn't see a single thing that happened in the ring. It didn't matter.
idea.
Everything that happened in the ring was just like a momentary breather before they took me back to heaven with the event.
Which I appreciated, because I need those breathers between those moments of eroticism. And it's very funny because 6 months ago, if everyone on the internet was complaining that an FTR match sucked ass, I'd be like, yeah. And this time I was like, what are you
That's
talking
crazy.
about? It was a highlight.
A really high level romance, it's good if there's a foreground plot that's a real plot.
Yes.
And so you can slip the romance into the cracks, which is where romance likes to be. Wow, there was a foreground plot that I did not pay attention to. And that's my favorite thing. It has to seem credible, but I don't want to pay attention to it. This was so credible. And I didn't care about it at all because I was just constantly being like, move the camera a little. I think Tony's over there. I think Tony's there.
What's the look on Tony's face like?
How's he
What's
dealing
Tony doing? Is he stressed? And yeah, he was
He
stressed.
was really stressed. Well, he started out, I think you flagged this, Ann, that it was like Taz or someone was like, this match is deeply personal for
Yeah, for Tony. Tony was like, yeah.
let's say some light, color for the match. Well, actually, very literally color. Nigel McGuinness, what's he wearing?
He was wearing purple, wasn't he?
Maroon.
Maroon?
Some kind of sort of girly plaid on his boots.
Very essentialist, Ann, but I don't disagree.
I mean, to cut through.
You have to use shorthand.
Yeah, and the boots and the knee pads had the same pattern on them, so they just look like thigh highs, basically. Like he should have been wearing fishnets, which I
loved it.
Loved.
Great
Not
look.
a critique.
He got did up for the pay-per-view, and he looked like a sexy freak, like a little sexy Scottish freak.
Yeah.
And then everyone else in the match, for some reason, and I think we can thank, I believe this was user Reckner on Blue Sky.
Yeah, Megan from All Elite Beat, or The Elite Beat, I think, said in it, I laughed so hard I got sick, where she said, glad Nigel showed up in purple and black to break up the ketchup and mustard vibes in the ring.
And then,
dead on description of what they were wearing. The red and yellow shades these men had chosen. I mean,
we immediately internalized it and just kept saying the ketchup and mustard match. Say, what's going on in this ketchup and mustard match?
And Danny Garcia had both red and yellow, so it was like he was really working the Ronald McDonald look, you know?
It was his all-time worst look. Like, I was like, what is the point of this? Why did you pick these colors? You look insane.
He looked insane, but then when I was like, how did he pick it? I just imagined him and Isaiah Cassidy like trying on clothes together and just like amping each other up, like in Parks and Rec when Little Aziz Ansari is running his business with what's his face, and they just keep being like, "That's a dope idea." I'm like, that's what happened. Is they're just in there being like, "Yes, yes, 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 yes," and it's like no one was there to be like, maybe no though, and it. Maybe let's look in the mirror before we leave the house and take one thing off.
Yeah.
So we've got our ketchup and mustard. We've got our sexy tartan situation. And then the whole match, Dax and Cash have identified. I mean, they did already identify it, but it was like continue to intensely follow through. They're like, if you want to make Nigel McGuinness so mad, you sexually menace Tony. Imagine saying that sentence 6 months ago.
It's crazy. And if you want to torture Tony Schiavone, you should like smash Nigel through a table right in front of him purposefully.
Him over the commentary.
There
was some imagery that was just like,
And Taz is sitting there like, what the fuck? He said at one point, you guys make me sick. And Tony Schiavone said it's a collision thing.
Like, what do you mean? But it's like, what did Taz even mean? Like, what does he think is going on? Does he think this is like consensual non-consent or something? Taz is like, this has all been orchestrated as part of like a sex play operation, and you guys are all complicit.
Taz is sitting there like, isn't there someone you forgot to ask? You know, it's Taz.
At one point, so Cash has like, I don't know, like stroked Tony's hair, and then he's like shoved Nigel over the desk in front of him and like, spanked his butt or something. God only knows. And then Nigel finally gets the upper hand again. And he shoves Cash into the commentary desk, and he starts being like, apologize to Tony. This is for you.
This is for you.
My jaw was on the fucking floor. My jaw was on the floor.
It's perfect.
If you asked me how long I thought this match went, I think I would have said 5 sublime minutes.
I know. Didn't feel too long. Never occurred to me it could be too long.
No, I was riveted the whole time. I was tracking everything.
It sent me to the moon, but like, who is it booked for?
No
like,
idea.
surely not us. Surely
idea.
they don't know that we're a demographic. But like, who else is there that likes this?
No, I don't understand. If not us, then who? You know?
Then who? Yeah. Like all the FTR heads being like, wow, I really got into the Nigel Tony thing.
If it was booked expressly for us, which of course is a possibility. If it was booked for our
It's a
demographic,
possibility.
the perverted girls of the world,
They're like,
I can only.
this is your sex trafficking apology, girls. We'll book one special thing for you. And you know, honestly, if that was
Truly,
the case,
I'm like, I salute you. I thank you for my slop, and I say, please, sir, may I have another? Every single pay-per-view, if you're going to make me buy 9 of them a year, potentially for up to $50 per, if I'm spending $450 a year on pay-per-view, you're damn right there better be some kind of perverted-ass old man yowie match where people get shoved over the commentary desk and, this is for you, Tony, and then they should be making out sloppy like Mina and Tony, okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which honestly, like if they did that at the next pay-per-view, I don't even know if I'd be surprised.
No, I'd say natural conclusion because you know what? Now we're only
They really set it up.
we're believing what we're seeing. Okay, so we read the narrative we see, and then we say we don't ask these questions like who could it be truly be for if not us? We're like it is for
Where
us.
is this going?
And it's about Nigel and Tony being in love. I accept it, and I celebrate it.
We say what we see.
Say
We
what
always
see,
do.
But now we believe what we say. The most.
That's right. Mostly. We'll see how long it lasts.
Anyway, so then Danny Garcia, I think, did get pinned or destroyed or something in this, which is, again, is crazy.
Who saw it pin? I was watching Nigel.
I honestly forgot. I didn't put it in the first recap, but I felt like I had to explain, like, oh, the match, the ketchup and mustard match ended. Don't worry about that. What was important, though, was that Nigel had really taken quite a serious beating. And he's laid out in the corner of the ring.
Tony comes over to him and puts his hand on Nigel's upper thigh.
Yes.
It was pretty
Intimacy.
high. And he starts whispering to him and being like,
Don't die.
Honey, are you
Don't
okay?
die.
Please, the children need you.
Doesn't care about his child, Danny Garcia.
Finally, he gets him up. Gets one arm around him. Somebody else helped too. I don't remember who it was.
Matt
Was it
Menard.
Matt Menard, maybe?
Yeah.
So they get him backstage. Tony fucking disappears.
gone.
He's not there for the next
I
match.
think that the Hurt Syndicate was the next. No, maybe I don't know. He's gone for the next match. He's gone.
Yeah. And I think Taz at one point is like, Tony's still backstage with Nigel, caring for
And
Nigel.
then when Tony comes back, he's like, I'm sorry I missed the match. I was attending to Nigel.
Attending to Nigel, yeah.
Which is
okay.
if you're married, of course you had to be back there.
Yeah.
If you're not
You should
married,
apologize.
Why would you do that if you're just a commentator? Yeah.
it's a collision thing.
I mean, I know it's a
collision.
collision thing, yeah. And I know he's a great commentary partner, quote unquote.
I forgot they hung a real lampshade on it. But I don't remember how it came up though, so now I'm just imagining Taz being like, "What's your relationship with?"
like Taz might have had some hard questions for them after this match. Like, I'd just love it if you would tell me because I have to sit there and watch you and talk about it, you know? So I just think it's respectful.
Right. Taz is like, I don't mean it offensively, but like, I like to know the relationships that my commentary partners have with each other. It's just something I like. I like to understand. Listen, don't know who it was booked for. Truly don't know if the in-ring action should have gone shorter. Totally possible. No idea. Don't know what happened in there. I know that I felt like it was for me, and I loved every minute of it, and it passed in the blink of an eye, and I carried it with me in my heart, a song in my heart for the rest of the night.
Yeah. It was really a return to our old ways because I think the three of us were leaning forward and just constantly going, does anybody have eyes on Toni? Who's got eyes on Toni? Does anybody know where Toni is right now?
So
Feels
true.
really good.
Yeah. Girls, can you believe that in this episode, we got this erotic Nigel Toni. We got a Toni Mina kiss.
Yeah.
Literal straight up tongue kiss on screen.
Tongue kiss.
We enjoyed Mark Briscoe in an ambulance.
We understand him now. We understand Mark Briscoe.
Yep. Kenny tried to shove a flag up
my
Young
God,
Buck's
right.
butts.
We barely even talked about it. It happened in the small quarter.
It did. And then Hangman, I mean,
it was a perfect pay-per-view.
What a pay-per-view.
I've rarely been so successfully titillated for so many beautiful hours. And you know what? I could have danced all night.
Yeah. And it was effective. I mean, we already bought our tickets for All In, but there's been periods over the past months where I'm like, why did we do that? Like, why? I wonder if we can sell them. Would that be crazy? And now I'm like straight up like, I'm so excited.
Oh, God, yeah. Our energy has not always been, I can't wait to wear an Ospreay Hot and Ready Ospreay hot dog t-shirt to All In. I'm so fucking excited, and I'm so glad that they did something cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Incredible.
Fuck. Okay. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about that we did not get a chance to talk about?
No. Wow, no.
Great night. Can't wait to do it all again. On that note, I've been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
This is Tunnel Talk. Our theme is Our theme is by Chris Broken. You can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Twitch, and Blue Sky at Tunnel Talk Pod via email, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. We have a souvenir stand. You can find it at chop-tees.com. You can find us on our feed, on the Social Suplex Network feed, where you can check out all the other great podcasts on the network. And you can find us on the Social Suplex Network Discord. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. My God, stay frosty, because it's going to be a hot one. And as always, please come back next week.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.